Yeah.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Local Marana Live. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday morning. Every Wednesday morning, we've been shooting this show and getting ready for our full fall broadcasting schedule. So that's been pretty exciting. As loyal and avid listeners to the show, you probably know that we like to start off by our local traffic and weather. So why don't we kick it over to David Samarano, who's in the box today, and let's see what's going on with the local traffic and weather.
Good morning, gentlemen, ladies, and everything in between. Let's get going on the Let's get going on the traffic. So, if you see these signs right here, these are closures of on-ramps. So some significant changes today. There is closures at the Twin Peaks on-ramp today.
What?
Yeah,
Why?
we're doing some construction over there, making some upgrades, and you know it's needed. Remember, the infrastructure is kind of a problem out here.
Yes.
But they're working on it. And then let's jump into the weather. So something cool is I know that there is a chance of rain starting today.
Come on.
Yeah. No,
I don't believe you.
I'm not kidding, man. Yeah, 20%. Oh, that's tomorrow. Sorry, guys. 20% chance of rain Thursday, 30% chance of rain Friday. And then this weekend, 40% chance of thunderstorms.
Really?
The monsoon is moving in. It's feeling good.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that real quick.
Hype up the monsoon.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah,
gents,
it's a
I'm going to
little
send it
early,
back
really.
to you. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to provide your weather and your traffic on this
Thank you,
wonderful day.
David. Outstanding job as usual.
Awesome. Thank you so much, David. Now, as we start with today, we've got a few things in this first segment that we want to get into that even kind of relate to the weather. But I think more important, we always like to hype up the good things that are happening in the community. And Clint, you sent us yesterday some good work that 88 Crime and Tucson Police and everybody kind of came together and they caught a perp. Or they arrested some suspects in a murder.
Yeah.
You want to riff on that a little bit?
Yeah. Just late April, we had a young lady murdered at a U of A student
right?
at a house party off campus, and over the last week, I think it was the 14th through like Monday, 4 bad guys were taken off the street, and one of the chief contributors to that was 88 Crime, which David so aptly
we know some people
represents.
that are at 88 Crime. David, thank you for your service, man. How do you guys feel about being able to help out and catch a few bad guys?
That's the mission of the whole thing, is to help and assist these law enforcement agencies here. That's what our not-for-profit does, and it's another job well done, and we're on to the next.
Yeah, such a tragedy.
Yeah.
Such a tragedy. Every time I see her face,
Right.
and they use that same picture, it's just tragic.
Yeah, it's
For
sad
no reason. Not that there's ever a good reason, but just a random murder.
Now, I'm going to assume a few things because I don't know all the details on the actual events, but house party. House parties are usually taking place way after hours.
Yeah, that's correct.
In the wee hours of the early morning.
Yeah.
On top of it, you have lots of alcohol and potentially drugs and recreational things happening there. And all of that kind of contributes. I remember my parents saying that nothing good is going to come after 10 p.m. at night. So I need you guys home right then. If you're going to live in this house, this is when you're going to be home.
Yeah.
And because there's nothing good for you as you get out into those later nights and the wee hours of the morning.
I mean, I worked a lot of nights, and you probably did too in the fire service. So there are needs to be out that late. But if you're not actively pursuing your job, if you will, for the lack of a better word,
if you're just out there being a knucklehead or putting yourself like I'm guessing in this particular situation, there are just. It's like collateral damage. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it's a recipe for all of those things that end up in a tragedy.
What little I know about it, it was these 4 guys, and apparently there's more. They said they're still looking for more suspects, so there's more.
Okay.
Was going to look for someone else and just shot this place up. And I don't have the young lady's name in front of me. I don't, but she was murdered. And that's just a tragedy.
Yes, yes, and we've all been in those wrong places at the wrong times, and luckily have been able to escape danger, but been involved in similar situations, and to know. That's why I'm just, the parent in me comes out and just says, nothing good happens after 10
Because I feel bad, not so bad maybe for the guys that committed the murder, but I certainly feel bad for their families and their parents and people that love them and care for them, because here's a bunch, and they're all like 17, 18 years old.
Their lives are over.
Yeah. They're going to be at a even best case scenario, if you will, from their standpoint. Mm-hmm. They're going to do a long stretch in prison.
Yeah. Exactly.
And there's just no. The only redeeming value is the system. In this case, with 88 Crime and the FBI was involved and different agencies, it did work, and quickly, because this happened in late April. Yeah. And here we are in mid to late June, so this was a pretty quick. Because a lot of times these things go on
years,
go unsolved. Sometimes forever, if not years for sure. Because you're reading forever,
right?
29 years later they solved this crime because of DNA that was left behind or something like that, which is a great way to start the show. Just take somebody just to write down. But hey, the system works. And that's something we pride ourselves here at LTD. We do not ignore the bad and the ugly, but we always try to offer solutions.
Yeah. And
part of what we're getting ready to do today
is
pretty positive to kind of counter some of that.
Yes. And we're going to tease that a little bit because we got some great things coming in. If you're on any of our social media channels and checking out what we're doing, it's been a great couple months, hasn't it? With all of the work that we've had in advertising and in broadcasting and building out a full broadcasting schedule of 24/7 coverage with multiple hosts and an ability to advertise and just the whole infrastructure.
Multiple hosts, multiple topics, and they seem to be as eager as we are to make it happen.
Yeah.
I think maybe they're more eager than we are because the time frame is we'll save that for later, but the time frame is sliding. Hey, I got one real quick question, and it just keeps I know I wanted to ask something, and I know what it is. David, question. Great,
talk to me, Goose.
Great reel that I get home from last night, and it pops up. It's like, great. It's fast. There's a lot of our action and stuff. But I got a question for you, David. I cannot for the life of me recognize the gym at the very end of that clip. I don't know where I was at. Where were we?
We were in Gilbert, Arizona, doing a sports project.
Is that where that was?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember we were in that soccer. We were in a soccer gym.
I kept looking at that going, well, it's got to be Marana High. It's got to be Marana High. And I'm looking at that going, well, obviously it's me.
Mm-hmm. No, you were in your zone thinking about how you get that high level of sports played down in Marana.
And I was trying to remember, well, that's probably true. And I was looking at what I was wearing. Now, okay.
Never remember. Hey, Scott, I want to go back to Scott before I give up the mic here. And we're talking about the local broadcast program that we're setting up.
Yes.
I want the listeners to know that you are the main ops guy on this because you have significant experience in overseeing multiple projects, multiple personnel. There's a lot of moving parts to it. And I want the listeners to know who's really behind
the mastermind.
The dashboard you've built for the creators and everything is really, really cool. And this is going to be a game changer here in this area. I immediately expect people to start copying stuff that we're doing right off the bat, as they already have. But I do want to applaud you on that because you've only been here for like 3 months, I think, right, Clint? He's been here
He's done a lot of great things in 3 months here.
And to come in and you saw the vision, you're like, yeah, we can make this happen, and right away, and you've got our support and the other people involved, And I just want to let the listeners know.
Great call, David.
Yeah.
Because without a doubt, you and I we're doing a pretty good job of producing this stuff. And I'm going to shout out David now, because you look around and we've got this cool studio. And yeah, it was my vision probably first. It was my vision, but I didn't put any of this really in place. I maybe wrote a check or two, whipped out the card a couple of times early in the thing. But David put all this.
Right.
And folks, there's a lot of stuff going on here.
Right.
In this room, in that room, soon to be in that room. And so, you know how, and I wrote this in a group text last night, you know how thankful and blessed, first to God that I am, and then to you and David for making this a reality, taking my vision. That wasn't solely my vision, but it was that was the seed.
Sure.
And turning this into a reality. You know how, and I will look right in the camera, see how important teamwork is? See how important, having a vision is great. But if you can't put feet to that vision and start setting some goals and reaching them in a timely manner, you're not going anywhere. You're just spinning your wheels. And so I encourage any entrepreneur out there, anybody with a vision, anybody with a plan, keep working it, but see if you can find and incorporate some other people of like-minded skills, hopefully better than yours. I want to be the weakest link in my chain, which is really easy to do, by the way. But that's what my aspiration is.
Hey, Scott, can you kind of break down how that works, like with the hosts that are coming in? Then also, can you cover the open studio platform we're going to be introducing on the weekends for creators and podcasters?
Yeah, yeah. Well, sure. Well, I was going to save that for later, but we can hop into it right.
My bad.
Let me give you an overview, because then I want to share a few details at the end. But kind of the overview that we've been talking about is using. We're basically taking over what radio used to be. AM radio, like David had said before, isn't in vehicles anymore. It's a dying thing. But there's a place, because that's where you actually have a voice. People, what we wanted to do. So we started talking and said, you know, we have great ideas. We like to share our perspectives. We don't like the mainstream media, just type of one thought, one way to do all things. And when you saw what happened during the pandemic and all of the things of like 2020 and beyond, and we saw a need. We saw a need to get more voices out there.
When you look at legacy media with an objective eye, which we tried to maintain that, it's I'll just say it's actually a joke.
Right.
I was sharing with you off camera, you and David, two articles I read last night. One from a huge long-term legacy media and one from a local one. I don't even know what I read. And I went back, the shorter of the two, and tried to reread it to see if I had missed it. There was no conjugated sentences. There was no thought process. He said this, he said that, and I'm trying to track which he we're talking about. You know, that's not even.
Right.
And it was an important the situation.
And you
couldn't
even understand what they were saying.
And I try to pride myself in being somewhat understanding of printed material, and I was like, the other one, I won't even get into that one. That one was like insane. It was like, if we throw a bunch of words, and I mean like 2,000 words, maybe we can cover our cause. And there was contradictory statements to all that. And that was what led us to where we're at. And you had the vision, because you had the vision on this in the middle of a road trip to Colorado to get up and start penciling this thing out a couple of months ago.
It would work. And, you know, I like to see it from a leadership perspective. So here's why ultimately at the root, here's why we're doing what we're doing. Because when you saw the events of the last few years, what I saw more than anything else, and why I got into this business, was there is a lack of leadership. Because who is ultimately leading your kids? Who's leading your people on a day-to-day basis are people on TV and in radio and in podcast form, because those are the ones that are in your little device all day long.
And they're propaganda machines for the powers that be.
So so as an example, a lot of people become fire chiefs because they don't want the other guy. to be in charge. So that becomes a motivator. It's like, well, I'm going to promote because I don't want the other guy. And people use that as motivation. Well, for me, in hopping into broadcast, it's kind of the same thing because it said, okay, if we don't start having good, logical thinkers, independent thinkers, and leaders that are on these platforms, because we can avoid social media and just say, that's not our thing, we're not going to do it. Yeah. But if we're in it, then we can be the leaders, because otherwise, who's leading our people on a day-to-day basis? The View?
Yeah.
Chris Cuomo?
Yeah.
I mean, think about the people that had these massive platforms that just ran things into the ground with their own ignorance.
Well, did you see what Chris Cuomo, you mentioned him, what he said last night?
No.
I mean, I don't watch this stuff. I read it. And it was talking about Justin Timberlake's DUI arrest.
Okay.
And he was all like, well, let's lay off the guy. Everybody's made a mistake. And I'm thinking, yeah, we kill 40,000 people roughly, and that's actually down. We're doing a little better job. 40,000 people a year die in automobile collisions. I don't call them accidents. And a good chunk of those are alcohol or drug related. Yeah. And his whole take was, poor Justin, he made a mistake. Let's give him a pass. And I'm like, poor Justin made a mistake, but you know what? He was driving while under the influence of alcohol.
Right. You know,
I'm in this case, I'm not really going to give him a pass for that. Well, I mean, if he'd have been jaywalking or something, of course, give Justin the pass. But you're drinking while under the influence of alcohol, you don't get a pass for that.
Well, there's an example of what kind of voices are going to be weighing in on all of these things that are happening in life and then being pushed into your phone. And so why we're taking the time to not just be on it ourselves, but recruit very high quality people. And I'll use an example of yesterday. We had a good meeting with a young lady that is fiery and energetic, and she's going to be a fantastic podcast host for us on one of the radio shows. And one of the things that she was concerned about is she was like, well, I say some things that are inappropriate sometimes. And we're like, well, we want independent thinkers, and we want you to share what you feel. And all that we ask from a cultural standpoint is that you try to keep it clean as possible. You know, every now and then we're going to push the boundaries, but we want a wide audience to be able to listen. And they may not be interested in your particular show, but they know where to go. You can go to LTD Media and get good content of different things. But on top of it, we're not just problem identifiers.
Right. Amen.
The world has enough problem identifiers. All we ask from our hosts is think for yourself, be yourself as an individual, but also don't just identify problems, provide an alternative solution. And that's what's going to differentiate us, is we're going to be talking about all the things from not just one scenario. Think about the whole pandemic and the vaccination part of it. And we went from not having a vaccine and all the first responders and everybody having to be out there against it to one solution for the entire world. And if you are not part of that solution, you're actually going to lose your job or you're going to be alienated from society. And that's the propaganda that happens when you have just one mainstream media voice. And we are here to build new voices, to build alternative solutions, and we're fired up about it. And that's what she loved about it too. She was like, I love that you guys have a plan, and I can see it, and I can see how it works, and how the more I get viewers, the more as a host I get paid. There's revenue sharing in this. It's an exciting time to be in the industry.
Is. You know, two things I want to piggyback off before my time's done here. I was reading an article, not an article, but on social media yesterday, a post, because it was 4 years ago yesterday that Mayor Romero proclaimed everybody in Tucson was going to wear a mask.
Okay.
Going against Governor Ducey's executive order that said no one could supersede the state's authority in this. So right away. And there was one of the comments in there, and I looked the person up. It's got to be a fake, because there was very little. It's like, you people just don't know to do what you're told.
Oh.
You just don't know what to do what you're told
just
to do.
What you're told.
Are you kidding me right now? I even yeah, even prior to COVID, with some of the political stuff that we deal with, I was talking to someone that was very, very adamant about his way of thinking. And his thinking and my thinking the outcomes were not lining up. And I looked, he's a gentleman my age, maybe a little older. And I looked at him and I said, hey, if someone were to randomly walk by here right now and ask each one of us what the 10 most important things in our lives are, how many do you think we'd agree on? And I've known this guy a while. And he said, no, probably 7 or 8. I'm like, okay, what are we doing then?
Because that's true.
What are we doing? Even if it was 1, and it's probably way more. What do we all want? We all want. I challenge you.
Yeah.
List the 10 things you want and go ask someone else what the 10 things they want in life are, and it's going to be a good job, a nice house, a nice car, good education for your kids, enough money to take a nice vacation. Am I wrong on any of these so far?
No, think about.
So what are we doing? Think about what, Scott?
Well, so we have a lot of political clients right now because it's politics season, and we have them on both sides of the fence.
Well, and we got a neutral one that we're working with on the periphery. So we got left, right, independent thinkers.
And it is exactly what you talk about. At the end of the day, 8 out of the 10 things that we care about are the same. There's just kind of a different suggestion on where the solutions lie. But behind the scenes, it's all like the same pot.
Let's build bridges.
Yeah,
let's build bridges to gap some of those differences.
Yeah,
as long as we're not compromising our core moral values, I'm willing to listen to anybody about anything about how to make this better, right?
Yeah, just like an example I use a lot is if you took a picture of a city and it was full of smog and everybody just looked at that picture and they would say, does anybody think this is cool? Is anybody okay with this? Or do we all agree that this sucks? And you'd be like, yeah, this smoggy city sucks.
Yeah.
Like 1% of the people might be like, no, that's dope. I love sucking that into my lungs. But everybody else would say no. So now let's focus on the solution to it. Don't get into propaganda. Is it on how to just solve the problem? Work together to solve the problem.
Yeah, but Scott, here's the reality. Divide and conquer has been a strategy used by leaders and people in authority forever.
Yes.
And here's an open market, and I hear the bumper music playing. But here's a time, unlike any time in recorded history, when actually we the people, and I don't just mean the American citizens, I mean we the people, have a voice. And that's what LTD is going to plug in right there, baby.
Exactly. We are here to provide the voice of the people. Yes. And when we return, we've got a new guest of our new intern that's going to be working with us. Anupam will be back on. He's going to swap with you, and we'll see you in a bit.
Hey, and Scott, make sure you...
Hi.
Make sure you...
Hi. I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Hi, I'm Melissa Zuppi, running for the Marana Town Council. As a resident of Marana, I've witnessed the positive growth that has created a strong community where people in all stages of life want to live. Unfortunately, with growth comes traffic. One of my top priorities and goals is to work towards securing funding for the improvement of Marana's high-traffic I-10 interchanges and local roadways. Let's keep Marana moving forward together. Vote Melissa Zuppi, Marana Town Council.
Hi, I'm Ed Honey, and I'm running for mayor of the town of Marana. I can assure you that if you have water now in the town of Marana, you will have it for the rest of your life. Water is not going to go away. Our water table in North Marana has gone from 300 feet down to 140 feet at the current status. Water will be here forever. Please support Melissa Zuppi, Roxanne Ziegler, and Ed Honey for Marana Town Council.
I'm Edgar Soto, and I'm running for Pima County Supervisor District 3. I am blessed to be supported by these three important women in my family, my mom and two sisters, and I'm humbled to be endorsed by the National Organization for Women. They are confident that I will improve the lives of women in Pima County when I'm elected in November.
Join Edgar Soto in building a better future for Pima County. Together, we can create good jobs, protect our environment, and ensure everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
Vote Edgar Soto.
I'm Roxanne Ziegler, and I'm running for re-election for Marana Town Council. I've worked for you, the residents of Marana, since 1995, when I started with the Planning and Zoning Commission. 2 years later, I won my first election. We started with a blank canvas, and I'm proud to have helped shape our community into what you see today. In uncertain times, we need experience and proven leadership. I would be honored.
There we go. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed all of the great advertising that we had. And if you want to be an advertiser on the show, we now have a contact us form that you can hop in on our website and fill it out, and we will get you into one of our many broadcast shows that is going to be coming in the fall, and you can have an opportunity to advertise with us because you get to thousands and thousands of local viewers, and it's growing every single day. That said, and talking about growth, we now officially have an intern with us, and I'd like to introduce everybody to Anupam, who is interning with us and completing a master's degree in our industry at the University of Arizona.
Yep.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. So you probably didn't expect a couple hours into your internship to be on live TV.
Not at all.
But
I was
that's
shocked when I was asked to go to camera. I was like, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm live.
Exactly. So you're ready. You're live now. Talk to us a little bit because we interviewed last week and kind of looked for some shared interests and how we can best benefit from this relationship. And what Live the Dream Media did is we became an affiliate with the University of Arizona and a partner to help people through their internships with business programs. So tell us a little bit about your undergrad and then where you're at now and where you're headed.
Okay. So I did my undergrad in India. In advertising. So I was, from study, I was interested in advertising. And then I came to US, University of Arizona. I did my master's in marketing. And now I'm live. I mean, I'm in front of the camera talking to you.
That's right. So one of the things you mentioned was Mumbai was the city, and Mumbai is the grand central area for Bollywood.
Yeah.
Right?
I call it House of the Bollywood.
House of Bollywood.
Yeah.
Yes. And so are you interested in a career in Bollywood?
Well, not right now, but if the chance comes, obviously, who will deny, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like working in Bollywood, it's a big thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Even in US.
One of the things that I appreciated too, your perspective is we talked a little bit about US advertising. And you saw one of the differences between your home country and the United States is because it's more competitive and there are a lot more products out in India that are competing for the same customers, there has to be a lot more creativity in their advertising.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that a little bit.
Previously I worked for an OTT platform, just like Netflix. So what they do is they produce travel shows, right? So one problem that we often faced was, reaching out to audience. Because in India, what happens is there are so many brands competing for the same target audience with the same product. So the only distinction is advertisement. So we need to be creative. We need to be on the point, as well as keeping the simplicity in mind. Because who is putting their mind into advertisement too much? Like you don't focus on advertisement that much. Sometimes you skip those advertisements, to be honest. So it's very important for us to, just put out our best and the most creative advertisement out there.
Right. You have to be able to capture their attention immediately. And they have to know what you're selling.
Yeah.
Because it could be one thing to make a creative ad and you're like, oh, that's really interesting. I don't know what that product was at the end of it. Sometimes you see that happen. And I think it's ironic because you see the United States as like free market, democracy, capitalism, all of that. Yet, like your perspective was, you guys are getting lazy because you really you have these big giants in the industry. You have 3 or 4 car companies and that's it. Or you have, the healthcare industry is spending billions on advertising, which doesn't happen in other countries. They don't have the same investment into all of these pharmaceuticals, and they're not even allowed to advertise. Yet we are, and it's only a few industries, so they can put whatever crap they want out for a new product or a new vaccine or a new pill, and then it's terrible advertising, but nobody cares because the important thing is you need this, and it's not creative. So that's what I loved about your perspective, because what I'm looking forward to is you're going to have a lot of opportunity to help us with ads, because we have clients, and what we're trying to get from them is use this as a full service. So I'll give you an example. A lot of times people will come in and they have kind of their idea set for their ad or their brand, and they give it to us and we shoot it. Well, that's okay. We can provide that service, but a lot of people are bringing those things, but they're not necessarily professional marketers or advertisers. And in getting that education, that there's a very nuanced delivery to the way that you advertise. And we can shoot and film any script that anybody wants, but taking the time to use an ad agency for full service is going to get a bigger impact, because you're truly going to be able to advertise it in the way that people don't realize. So that's what I'm looking forward to, having you and getting your creativity in and getting a different eye. Do you feel overwhelmed at all yet?
I do feel a bit overwhelmed right now. But just to correct you, I think I didn't use the word lazy. I used the word boring.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough.
And the thing that you said about the advertising and being the whole service is very true, because what we want from the brands is just their idea, what they want to put out.
Yeah.
And after that, we want the whole control. Like we can prove them right?
Yeah, exactly. Because they're business owners. They might not necessarily be ad experts. And so you want to know what they're selling and how to you want to know what story they want to tell, but then give it over to us and let us tell that story for you. Yeah. So, okay, I appreciate that. I used lazy, but boring is a more accurate, but I think that's also a good point, is if your ad is boring, people are going to skip it.
Yeah.
So you're going to help us with that eye. Right now, besides putting you on live TV, we also got you working the box with David. David, can you hop on and give us an assessment of how he's done so far in the first 20 minutes in the box?
Better than me, right? I just can't even turn my mic on. No, here's Clint in the back right here. He's in the box too. No, he did great. I gave him a chance to use the stream deck here where he could switch, and he was switching some of your guys' shots. There was a little point where he pushed it too hard and it did a bunch of different transitions, but he's good. He's open to learn, and we're excited to have him here.
Yeah, and excited to be working with the U of A on getting more interns and getting more experience out, because we want you to be an advocate not only for us, but be great in the industry when you leave. And when you graduate and whatever it is you do, we'll be rooting for you, because that's how we roll over here. You're not an intern here so that you can get us coffee and we can berate you on a regular basis. You're here to learn and grow and help the team. So welcome to the team. We're super happy to have you. You'll be hearing us referencing Anupam a lot in these next few weeks, and hopefully he's going to learn a lot. So thanks. Yeah, we're going to hop into a quick switch out because we want to get Clint back in here, and we'll get Anupam back in the box, and we'll be right back.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash. When you call in anonymously with the tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward. Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
Are you looking to establish a powerful online presence for your brand? Look no further than Live the Dream Media. Our team of experts possess the capabilities and skills necessary to make it happen. From creating compelling content to analyzing data and making strategic decisions, we've got it covered. Don't let a lack of social media know-how hold you back. Visit ltdmedia.net for more information.
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Hi, I'm Melissa Zuppi, running for the Marana Town Council. As a resident of Marana, I've witnessed the positive growth that has created a strong community where people in all stages of life want to live. Unfortunately, with growth comes traffic. One of my top priorities and goals is to work towards securing funding for the improvement of Marana's high-traffic I-10 interchanges and local roadways. Let's keep Marana moving forward together. Vote Melissa Zuppi, Marana Town Council.
Hi, I'm Ed Honey, and I'm running for mayor of the town of Marana. I can assure you that if you have water now in the town of Marana, you will have it for the rest of your life. Water is not going to go away. Our water table in North Marana has gone from 300 feet down to 140 feet at the current status. Water will be here forever. Please support Melissa Zuppi, Roxanne Ziegler, and Ed Honey for Marana Town Council.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Local Marana Live. I hope you guys appreciated our new intern, because we sure do.
Yeah.
And he's going to do great things for us. We got plenty of work for him, right?
Strap it on, big guy.
Yep. It's okay. So, anywho, Clint, you know the reason why I'm so dressed up and like a businessman, like a banker today? You see my banker shirt.
You know, I brought mine over there, but I didn't want to wear it the whole day.
Yeah. So after today, we're going after we shoot this, we're going to go over to the Marana Food Bank.
We're going to go get the mayor.
Oh,
Ed Honey. We're going to pick up the mayor, driving Mr. Ed.
Ooh.
He's a personal friend of ours. We enjoy spending time with him.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go over to Food Bank, about 11:30, Oro Valley Church of the Nazarene, OVCN.
Mm-hmm. I hear you remember.
I hear you go there as well. You were there late last night.
Yes.
Working rock band camp.
Right. We're teaching the kids how to rock out. We got about 40, 50 kids doing rock band camp. So we got a lot of volunteers that have music background and you know, OVCN's doing a lot of great things in the community, including this food bank donation.
So they're going to, a couple of months ago, we started helping the food bank with their fundraising efforts to buy a new refrigerated truck to salvage a lot of food in the neighborhood that's going to waste through local grocery stores, etc.
Gotcha.
Although restaurants, we'll take their stuff too. And our goal was $50,000. We found a truck in California for $44,000.
Okay, big old
refrigerated truck,
cool,
with a lift gate. and Oro Valley Church of the Nazarene, which we both mentioned we're part of that. We invited them to come out for a tour, and they graciously wrote us a check at the time that was going to cover the difference. And we even got a couple of donations following that, so we really covered the difference. Long story short, we were going to split it out of general funds, etc. We went well beyond that. We didn't have to take any money. When I say we, I'm talking about the Marana Food Bank. Did not have to take any money out of general funds, if you will.
Yeah.
We had $44,000 donated to us from
awesome.
the members of the community. We'll save that for the article, but Oro Valley Church of the Nazarene made the difference up of the original goal. And so today they're going to present a check, and I'm sure we'll see Miss Jeannie and Pastor Sean and an assortment of representatives from the church. And we're going to grab Mr. Ed and take him over there. And
well, and isn't that the primary goal really of any church, especially larger churches that have resources, is to be truly providing that service back to the community?
I've said it in this seat, and I'll say it again as long as I'm sitting in this seat. That's primarily the responsibility of a church or any non-for-profit or faith-based. Says it right in the scriptures, to take care of the widows and the orphans, take care of the poor, feed them. And our whole goal at the food bank is not just provide a meal, which you gotta feed the hungry. No one can do anything when they're hungry, but let's give them a hand up, not a handout. That's a line we've used often. Yeah, and Ed and I use it a lot. Is we want to see people grow and mature, because there's always going to be the next hungry person behind that. Right. And as we grow as a community, we're now well over 60,000, maybe 65,000. When I moved here 2 decades ago, we were in the high 20s. So we've more than doubled, almost tripled in size in the last community in the last 22 years. So the need's always going to be there. Yeah. People stomp out hunger. Not possible. Wish that were a goal that we could set our sights on, but that's just not reality. Right. But this was really cool to see the coming together and the partnership that is now forming between not only Oro Valley Church of the Nazarene, OVCN, but other members of our community. Trico was heavily involved in this. The Heart Association was heavily involved in this. We had a lot of private donors, and David and I did. I think this one was when you were maybe in Colorado, but we did a thing with them, and I know we generated $1,000 in 1 hour here, in a podcast. Oh, right. And so, David, I think we can take credit for whatever the purpose for what not to take credit, but I think LTD did generate about $5,000 just directly through that process, not to mention hooking people up.
Oh yeah, you talking about the food bank podcasting they did? Oh yeah, when not long after we spoke to them, they said that they had generated about $3,000 off of it. That was just I think less than a week after the podcast. Yeah,
happened. Lucille and Veronica came in, 2 incredible young ladies that are the staff out there. They just have such a servant's giving heart, and there's a lot of things going on, and I'm sure today while we're out there, we'll get with Carlos and get him back in here on a podcast soon, because there's a lot of really good stuff. I would be negligent if I didn't shout out again the Board of Supervisors, starting with Sharon Bronson when she was still on the board, and then Sylvia Lee, who replaced her when Sharon's health was failing and she suffered some injuries that she required her to retire. Jan Lesher, who's been here as well, the sizable financial contribution that the Pima County Board of Supervisors committed to the food bank, as well as the town of Marana. And again, that's Ed Honey, Patty Cumberford, John Officer, John Post.
Ed Honey's a rock star over there.
Yeah, he really is.
I don't think people give that guy enough credit, man.
He is the longest serving tenured state elected official in the state of Arizona.
Really? In the whole state?
Yeah, the whole state.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah. Can I go sideways just a little bit about that, just for a second? And this actually has nothing to do with Ed, but it made me think. I'm a term limits guy. I just am. I think a lot of our problems could be solved if we limited the amount of time that people spend in an elected office. That doesn't mean you can't ever run again for something else, but once you've served a couple of terms in whatever office you're in, pick something else or go do something else.
Can I be devil's advocate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen here, devil.
Listen here.
Hop on that screen, devil.
I have been thinking about this for a couple years because I am I'm just like you, Clint. I am a registered independent, right? So there's a little room.
Me too.
Oh, Scott is too. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I thought, which I don't care, right? Like I really just don't care with people, but I was free thinking on this one, and that sounds like a great idea. But when I see, I saw Jan Lesher here a couple weeks ago on here. Sylvia Lee was here, and being involved in the politics stuff that we are, you kind of get some seats at some tables, and you get to hear some meetings and kind of things that are going on. And one thing that really stood out to me about all this with the term limits is I do fear what happens to programs and their sustainability and their consistency, right? Like if you do, for instance, have a good program and, a certain person brought that program in, they've done a great job overseeing it, making sure it grows, they get out just because, not on the voters in part, but they get out because of the limits. That's the one thing that and that's just the one thing.
Yeah.
I just David, that's it, though.
Well, you know what? I've had an awakening, if you will, or an evolution in my thought process.
Ooh.
Yeah. And it kind of echoes David's. From a federal standpoint, from a federal or state standpoint, I think the constitutions and the guidelines are in place to the point we don't really, I'm going to stay with the term limit. But locally, I have totally a different take on it, and I'll tell you why.
That's interesting.
Here's why. Locally, we don't have the same talent pool we do statewide or nationwide. Okay, that's just the reality. It's a number. It's a numbers game.
Yeah, it's hard for somebody to commit the right amount of hours and time and volunteer work to.
And you know what, Scott? I'm glad you said that because that's part of it too. I won't throw numbers out there, but it's public knowledge. The people in Marana, and I'm assuming the people in Oro Valley. Now, the Tucson, they voted. The voters have voted huge pay raises for the mayor and the council people down there. They're making good. They're making good bucks. The people in Marana.
Yeah,
I don't know if it'd even cover your gas, to be honest about it. It is, and I have actually begged the people that are there now. I mean, I'm on them. Get a pay raise in there. You're never going to get younger people to start accepting these positions of authority that they're going to have to at some point.
But they have to support their families.
Well, I'll throw the bottom number, 16,000?
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, to do it right? Because that's a lot of. You're essentially saying, "Hey, I'm running. I'm basically a volunteer."
Yeah.
Which is a cool and novel idea, but there's also the reality of there's going to be a limited amount of time you can give if you're young and your kids are in sports and you're doing PTA stuff and you're doing all this other stuff. How are you going to truly be a good elected official to serve the community?
I put my money where my mouth is. I have been begging them the last 2 or 3 years to, hey, you got to raise. You don't have to raise it for you. If you're cool with it being that way, that's great. But for the next group, you better put some money in the pool. I'm not saying they got to make $100,000, but let's raise that over 20.
Yeah.
And let's pay her the mayor maybe 30. Or I mean, you pick up. You can come up the community. That's where the community then it has some input. What do you think it's? How much do you think it's worth to you to have these people?
Yeah.
But the pool is so limited in local communities, like 50, 60, 70,000, that I don't have the same. I used to say term limits forever. Actually, Ed and I had this conversation a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, Ed, I've been a proponent for a long time of term limits, but now I'm for local, I'm not.
Well, isn't it a tough position for a currently elected official to support a pay raise that they benefit from and the council benefits from? Like, it's usually uncomfortable. It's kind of a bad
in election season.
And it should be. And you know what, Scott? It should be uncomfortable. These are uncomfortable thoughts and discussions that we're having. But I could certainly say, even though I might benefit from it, I say me only speaking hypothetically, I might benefit from it, or a candidate might benefit from it down the road. I still, so you're never going to do it because somewhere down the road someone's going to benefit from something. Again, that's these conversations that we should be having as a community at large.
Right.
Is what do we think fair compensation? I don't know what the number is. I just threw out a number, but I know the number that's there now isn't fair compensation. Because I know a lot of these people personally, and they spend a lot of time
Yeah, it's
eating
exhausting.
rubber chicken dinners.
And then you also get pummeled by the opponents and the opinions and the trolls that are saying you're doing a terrible job. And now
attacking your family, as some of these texts and emails that we've seen,
and doing that for $16,000 a year.
Yeah,
sign me up.
Yeah, I think that's the problem.
All right.
What,
Scott,
David?
what else you got, Scott? Sorry, we gotta get moving. I know we're in the weeds over there with that one. And you know what,
Just
Clint's
frolicking.
absolutely right. I mean, we've had multiple conversations with like, hey, you guys, you need to get some better talent. Not that like you're not good, but there's no bench.
The next gen's not going to do it for that.
Right.
Hey, David, I got something for you. Speaking of being in the weeds, we know that we are in the season right now. We talked about the weather. We talked about some monsoons coming. There is a dry lightning problem that usually starts when we get into this time of year. And I actually filmed some basically weeds because I like to frolic in the weeds on a regular basis. And what I want to show is a little HOA issue in a community because I want to help educate the public. There's common areas in a lot of the Marana communities and unincorporated Pima County that still poses a threat for wildland and for brush fires, and want to do a quick minute as to why that is. So, David, if you've got that to roll, I'd like to show that one.
All right, sending it now.
All right, so what you're looking at here is some HOA common area in a neighborhood, and as you can see, it's the time of year where that new growth starts to brown up on the bottom. That's not really a danger in itself because that's going to burn hot and fast and burn out. But the problem we have here, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit, is this is what we call ladder fuels. And the problem with ladder fuels is so you get that brown stuff burning, but you haven't trimmed the trees underneath, and all of that stuff is dead in that tree right now. So as it can climb into the tree, it can actually get the tree on fire. That is then hot enough to go jump tree to tree and hop into this one. So this is where we have some real wildland fire danger. Yeah, right? So that poor bastard on that house you just saw there. I mean, that person,
That poor bastard.
that person just spent a year out of their home, having to mitigate it for some mold issues and some other things from previous damage, and it's now beautiful and it's livable, and they're back in there. And as they hop back in, and have noticed that this HOA, they need to address that issue. And that's why, I have the previous history, and while I'm not a wildland expert, you see this happening.
You can see it.
Yeah, you see it.
You can see that.
It's easy to kind of put two and two together. A lot of times once that old stuff on the bottom dies, it burns out hot and fast, and it's no big deal.
Yeah.
But when you have trees that have been overhung and have all that dead growth underneath it, that's where you're going to start running into a problem, because a wildland fire left to its own devices is going to burn uphill because that's where it can keep reaching things. It's going to climb into those mid-level ladder fuels, start to gain a lot more heat, and now it can jump by the crowns. So you have a nice crown of a tree, and now you have a fire in there. And then there's a tree that's protecting that home that is huge, and it's overhanging. And so you could get on the homeowner a little bit and say, you know what, buddy, you should trim that tree back that's encroaching onto your your roof. But that homeowner may love the tree and love the value of it and say, nay, sir. Why don't you trim up the HOA?
Yeah.
Because that's what HOA funds are for.
I know of a great company for that tree. It's Bryzer Resources.
Bryzer?
Out of Marana. Owner's name is Joe Chavez.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Hey, if we could...
Just a shout out on that.
Can we get the HOA to... I'll grab that number and they'll say, hey, if we don't have a good plan, Joe Chavez is our guy. Because we want to support local anytime we can.
You know, from a layman standpoint, when I see that, it's pretty obvious that this could be not only lightning strike, which we're at that time of the year. How about a cigarette?
Oh yeah.
How about a stray ember from a fire pit?
Good point. Man,
I mean, those are things that are really easily, especially with a little breeze. Somebody's got a little fire pit in the back. It's probably hot for that, but I mean a barbecue grill.
Car engines too, man. I saw a fire one time from a car parked over grass like that.
So this would not have to be Mother Nature. There's a lot of other ways that could be. That's kindling right there, man. That you look at that burn in a heart. That dead grass, would burn in a heartbeat.
Right.
It wouldn't take much.
And by itself, you could survive that and defense it. But if you have those ladder fuels that are going to cause that fire to grow,
how fast would that grow, though, Scott? I mean, go
too fast.
from the dead grass to that low shrubbery under the bush. To the bush. I mean, we're talking minutes. It wouldn't take long.
Right. Now, I'll give you an example, too, is there's a fire station right behind that house. But think about all of those seconds turn into minutes, feel like forever because...
It's directly behind it as the crow flies.
Yeah.
Because coming out of there, you got to do the U-turn. You got to go back up there.
And the fire department has to... First, you have to call 911.
Yep.
911 has to answer. 911 has to know where you're at and what you're doing. 911 has to relay that message to the proper resource. That resource gets the message. It's going to take a minute to process that message and get out. So now you're talking 5 minutes. And
that's
just like a heart attack, a lot of damage can be done in a wildland fire in 5 minutes.
In my mind, I figured from where they're at to where that house is, it'd take 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It would have to.
Yeah, exactly.
There's too many processes that have to be checked off.
And that's if you saw it immediately.
Exactly.
So think about it. A lot of it's not like you're just staring at at common areas looking for fires. It may have grown for 2 or 3 minutes before it sees something visible, and now you're behind the game.
Yeah.
So there's so many little things that can be done to help protect your community and prevent those brush fires from turning into neighborhood fires. And for more information, we have a local resource in Marana, Northwest Fire District. Northwest Fire District is your fire service provider in Marana. And you can cruise over to their website, and they've got a lot of great information.
Now, if you've leaked out into the Oro Valley marketplace, that's Golden Ranch.
Yep, and then
same scenario.
Exactly. Oro Valley, you have Golden Ranch Fire District, and you can go to their website and also get a lot of information on wildland fire.
Because we're at that time of the year that how many times in the 20 years that I've been here have I seen that mountain on fire? Several times in the 20 years.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Actually, it burned the first summer I was here in 03. You remember that was a big one.
Yeah.
Because I was still living in an apartment on Oracle before we bought our first house here.
Right.
And the summer was spent watching that thing just glow.
Yeah.
Right? At night, how long did that burn? A month?
Yeah, too long. It burnt like the whole
It just
season,
burned it all.
the whole summer.
Burn it down.
Burns everything.
Didn't burn the mountain down, but it burned everything that was green on it.
Yeah.
Pretty much down.
And there's a lot of things that we can't do something about, but we always talk about control the controllables. And what you saw with that HOA situation is a controllable.
It's controllable.
Yeah, you can get in there and you can clean that up before you start getting those dry lightning.
It'd be kind of hard to go on the side of that ridge there and really do much, honestly.
Yeah, but get in there, get underneath those trees.
In your neighborhood, you can fix it for sure.
Exactly.
You can reach that.
Yeah. So I think we're getting close to a break. So I wanted to transition and allow that to happen. And then maybe when we come back, we can talk a little more about some new things that are happening in the broadcast arena with Live the Dream Media. So,
I hear the music playing.
Get to your Northwest or Golden Ranch Fire Service websites and get more information on preventing fires in your community. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Hi, I'm Melissa Zuppi, running for the Marana Town Council. As a resident of Marana, I've witnessed the positive growth that has created a strong community where people in all stages of life want to live. Unfortunately, with growth comes traffic. One of my top priorities and goals is to work towards securing funding for the improvement of Marana's high-traffic I-10 interchanges and local roadways. Let's keep Marana moving forward together. Vote Melissa Zuppi, Marana Town Council.
Hi, I'm Ed Honey, and I'm running for mayor of the town of Marana. I can assure you that if you have water now in the town of Marana, you will have it for the rest of your life. Water is not going to go away. Our water table in North Marana has gone from 300 feet down to 140 feet at the current status. Water will be here forever. Please support Melissa Zuppi, Roxanne Ziegler, and Ed Honey for Marana Town Council.
I'm Edgar Soto, and I'm running for Pima County Supervisor District 3. I am blessed to be supported by these three important women in my family, my mom and two sisters, and I'm humbled to be endorsed by the National Organization for Women. They are confident that I will improve the lives of women in Pima County when I'm elected in November.
Join Edgar Soto in building a better future for Pima County. Together, we can create good jobs, protect our environment, and ensure everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
Vote Edgar Soto.
Welcome back, everybody, to Local Marana Live. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning. We've gotten to have a lot of great discussions so far on keeping your community safe and all the great things that are happening in the community. And Clint, I wanted to share something about some discussion that we as a team have been having on a regular basis. And a text that is often sent in the group thread is, "What a great time to be alive."
What a great time to be alive, Scott.
Yeah.
You and I are alive right now.
Right.
Speaking to at least 3 or 4 people.
We have a radio station.
Yeah.
We have the capability of a news station with just the handful of folks that are working on this behind the scenes. We can reach all billions of people that are in the universe.
Yeah. And it will translate on the other end for them because it's built into the software.
The game has changed and people can hop in here, but it's not an easy game and it's not a safe game because what we're doing is we're putting opinions out there. We are choosing to be the leaders and to recruit more people to come in and be the thought leaders and provide alternative perspectives. And with that comes trolls and comes challenge. And
do you let those bother you, though? Honestly.
Personally, I've gotten a lot better at that.
I guess maybe age. Maybe age, because we've had this conversation.
You guys know the best way to get over that?
Well,
is
how's
just
that?
Create a video where you just get roasted, like I did on YouTube, right? Just
Patty Benjamin,
Just a piece of advice: just go through the one roast. It's like a badge of honor.
Okay. You know, David, being a former police officer, probably. What word do I want to use?
Used to get negative feedback.
Yeah, he got a lot of negative feedback. Me at my age, there's just unless you're talking smack about my wife, my mom, my kids. And even then, you might not get my attention because it may be true. Yeah, I just don't care. I mean, not that I don't care because I do. People say I don't care. Well, so you don't have a heart. So you know you're the Tin Man in the Wizard of Oz. There's a reference that most people will under 30.
I
will know.
love when people take time out of their day to insult me or somebody else because
exactly.
Like I just want to thank you for thinking of me.
Yeah,
giving me
I'm
that
in your head.
space
Yeah,
in your head.
exactly.
You know? It's
Free rent.
It's a great place to be either way.
You know, David mentioned it a while ago. People will probably there may be some copycats, if you will. There's a kid's term, or people using some of. I'm actually when that first started happening in social media, I'm like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I had someone yesterday take a post that I'd made about the Boston Celtics winning. Just created a little congratulations, and I saw it pop up, not shared, pop up 2 or 3 times.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, you thought it was cool enough to just randomly steal that and share it yourself.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Did they at least give you a like for
No.
that?
Well, no. I got
on.
I got a heart. But you know what?
Okay,
and
good.
sometimes they don't know it. In this particular case, I didn't. A lot of times, if I do something and I create something that I think might have that, I had a marker in there somewhere.
Oh, so you could be like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, go ahead and let that take off real quick. But I hid something in
We
there.
need to get Clint set up on some NFTs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Because I've been ripped off more than once by people that you wouldn't suspect sometimes.
You're an influencer
and I'm like,
now,
well,
man.
I don't know about that, but I'm like, I'm going to hide. I don't always, but typically, if I've got something I think might be pretty cool, I'll hide something in there. You'll never see it, but I'll hide it right in plain. I'll hide it right in plain sight, and I can go, see, there's my name right there on the original copy.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, go ahead, David.
Oh, I was just saying. Well, the quote of the day is: "Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery."
Yeah. Mm-hmm. My mother has always said, "Oh, they're doing what I'm doing."
She's got a good eye for those things.
Yeah, you know it. You and I were having this conversation yesterday. You and I and my bride Tammy was about jealousy.
Yeah,
I never even honestly. I have never been jealous of anybody ever or anything ever in my life. I can look you in the eye and say that. I didn't even know. I talk about a blind side. My wife had to explain to me what it kind of was.
Hold up. You've never been jealous of a tall person?
No.
What?
Because you know why? You know why? You know why, David?
Why? Tell me.
Because when I was
things.
when I was 12 years old, I was the tallest kid in the class.
Well, what happened?
Well, I never grew past 12.
Oh, I got you.
So I had that. You know what I mean? I was the biggest kid in the class. They'd wrestle me 2-3 at a time. I'm talking in the 7th grade now.
Right.
I played forward on the basketball team.
Yeah, you were just an early riser.
I scored 50 points a couple of times in basketball games.
How many people were in your school back then?
125, the whole class.
On.
But in my world, I was certainly one of the biggest kids in the class. Yeah, well, you know what? I've never been. Hey, I've looked at things and went, "That's pretty cool." Ditto. That's neat. Man, I like that. You know what, David? A great question though about height. Man, if I had been 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", had any height, I probably. I'm not saying I was a great athlete, but I was a good enough athlete that if I'd have had a little more size, I think I probably could have played a little longer. You never know.
My coach would have just put you in.
Exactly. And as you got older, the little guy didn't get as much because you have to really excel.
Oh, yeah.
Especially at baseball.
There are physical advantages. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just reality.
It's just there. There's a few, but you look at the size of you. If you're around like football, I worked in the sports world a few times around professional athletes.
All right, let's keep this PG, please.
Okay, no. Yeah, well, yeah. There is one. Yeah, there is one. I won't go into that. They don't have enough towels in locker rooms. Let's just say it that way. But it's amazing how big professional athletes really are, because you don't notice it when you're watching them on TV or even sometimes live unless you're really close. If you're down close, you can see that these guys are beast.
Right.
But baseball, like for example, you don't notice it because you're watching it on TV. Well, everybody's big,
and they're kind of far away when they're in the outfield.
Exactly, and even if you're in even good seats, you're still a few hundred feet away most cases from the athlete. You don't notice it because everybody is 6'2", 6'3", 6'4".
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's why we're not in the NFL.
Yeah.
Clint,
I'm not saying I would have been in the.
Yeah, same, guys.
But we're
was a good
back
run,
back
though.
to jealousy, back to imitators. It just doesn't affect. So bring it on.
Yeah. So speaking of that, and talking about a great time to be alive, a lot of what we share with some behind the scenes stuff and some other things that we're consistently doing to stay ahead of the game is you could look at it one way and be like, ooh, they're giving away their secrets. They're going to get imitated. But we've talked about it before. Like, I'll tell you what we're doing because you still have to do it. And that's the hardest part is actually doing it.
I've said this to you, David, numerous times. Where's your face? Show me your face.
Oh, yeah, I've been in the leads on this before.
Yeah. We've talked. We were just this week. You said, shh, hey, Clint, do not disclose, blah, blah, blah. And what did I say? David, I could write you a detailed plan for the average person, give you $150,000 to activate that plan. And how many people you think would be? I'm not trying to slam people. I'm just speaking realistic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have heart in it, skin in the game, or whatever, you know what? If we gave that scenario, we gave somebody $250,000, and you're going to start your own Live the Dream Media Part 2. You know what? 99% of them wouldn't make it because they don't have those intangibles. They don't have skin in the game.
Skin in the game.
That's another Joyce Peak Schulte line. If you don't have skin in the game, the first time the wind blows real hard, you're out. The first time somebody rains on you, the first time somebody steals your stuff,
that's why
somebody hurt me.
That's why our broadcast hosts that are coming in, they all have skin in the game.
Yeah.
Because they are going to be the ones benefiting in the hundreds and then thousands of dollars per episode, depending on the viewership, because we have the infrastructure in place.
Scott built an incredible program for that.
And they're coming in, and when I say that it's a great time to be alive, I kind of hearken back, and I wanted to tell a quick story of my favorite superhero, because this all has kind of come full circle to me, and it's pretty cool. When I was in junior high, my favorite superhero was the Green Lantern. Mm-hmm. Now, it was kind of a strange one. Green Lantern wasn't popular, and the Green Lantern also gets hated on a lot because of the movie failure and some of the other things. But those real nerds of the DC Comics and that junior high area, the Green Lantern was unstoppable because the only limits that the Green Lantern had was his own imagination.
Tenacious.
That ring, that power ring that was symbolic of just the ability to create. The only limit, so Green Lantern could fly, Green Lantern could do literally whatever he wanted because he could manifest it with his mind and then use the ring to create it. And we are in that time period in our lives and in this industry where we are only going to be limited by our own imagination.
Right. I agree with that.
And it is amazing. Every single day, we're learning something new, whether it's working with AI video, music, a lot of the different things that we have. And that becomes another thing that we can give to our clients to differentiate themselves in advertising.
You know, spot on that. I'm going to shout Scott out again. How do I describe this? I would draw you a picture. It'd be easier. But the way you designed the program, and Scott did this. Well, there was some input from David and from myself, but it was more the way he structured it. Our host, as well as us as the originators of this material, have the potential to make unlimited amounts based on how much they produce, how popular they are, how hard they work at growing their audience. We're limited on what we can do. You and I and our organization, and they're limited on what they can do. We're only limited by what you say, our imagination.
Yes.
So I've used this line my whole life. If you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly. You know, you don't want to be just this little baby cub.
But you know who also benefits exponentially, which is the cool synergy in all of it, is the people that are investing in advertising with us.
Absolutely.
Because they keep coming back month after month after month because their business is growing. So all of this has this synergistic effect, And it's not our hosts trying to sell to our advertisers, trying to sell to the broadcast.
Yeah.
It's everything has this synergy to it. And everybody's got skin in the game. Our advertisers have skin in the game. We want them to be successful. We want the host to be successful.
Absolutely.
And everybody wins. And that's what's so fun about
This
it.
is more relational than transactional.
Yeah.
Because if you're running an ad on one of our platforms, we really legitimately, if it's more than $1, I mean, we're going to take the money. But we want you to be successful. We want you to blow up. As a matter of fact, a lot of our East Coast clients have grown to the point, some of them have sold.
Yeah.
And you would think, oh my gosh, you lost a customer. Well, no, we actually gained a long-term friend in this relationship. If that person ever does anything again, you know who they're going to call first? The people that made them enough money, they no longer even own their business because they were able to sell it. The rest of them are flourishing.
Yeah.
And turning more people onto us because we have an incentive program.
Well,
that
David,
if you turn other people onto us, we're going to compensate you for that.
Yeah, David, isn't that the exact case of one of our guys that sold a business recently?
Yeah, on the East Coast, he sold his dumpster rental company, and the company that bought the dumpster rental company then hired us to do theirs.
To do all the advertising.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because it works. And we have cracked the algorithm
We
in
have.
the digital marketing and advertising, and that's you guys. That's
And
David
you know how we cracked it? By being fair, by being aware that, hey, if you're bringing, I've said this from day one. If we grow and we flourish, every person that contributed to that is going to get a piece of it, depending on how much they put in. And I've said, and if you didn't do much, then you're probably not going to get much. But if you did a bunch, you're going to get a bunch.
Right.
Because it was you. Because, again, we look at it this way, right? Here's how we look at it. If one of our hosts comes in and they kill it, or 10 of them kill it, they're going to probably earn more than we do individually off of that time frame because they're buying them, not us. We're the platform.
Exactly.
But if we do that enough times, guess what? We get our own wiki page because we helped enough other people do what they wanted to do.
So let me ask you, you went into a news agency right now and you hopped into a contract and you wanted to be a news anchor and come in and do that. Well, not only are you not going to benefit personally from the growth of your own audience and all that hard work, because you're locked into a contract and you're just supposed to do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
With us, we're looking for wolves, not labs.
Yeah.
A lab is going to sit there and get fed and he's happy and dumb and loves it and wags his tail. But we're looking for wolves that are going to hunt for their food and have a limitless amount of freedom and potential. And just like we said, some of these hosts are going to, when we did the math and we started marching it out on how it works exponentially, some of these hosts are going to get paid more than the company as the show. And you think that a media company in this current day and age has a structure like that?
It wouldn't even be the media. It would be any company.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Scott's going to make more money than us. We own the company. What's wrong? Being in sales my whole life, you know how important sales are? They're the lifeblood.
Yeah.
They're what makes a company run. And that's why early in my career, I moved around quite a bit. You know what? I wasn't being really compensated for the effort that I was putting in. It wasn't personal. It's just you can do the math. Geez, they made this and I made this. I'm going to go where I'm more appreciated. And the better I got at what I was doing, the more people. And then it was people recruiting me. Hey, come on over here, Clint. Hang your license on this wall.
Yeah.
We want people to flourish. I say all the time, I want to make everybody around me a millionaire or multimillionaire.
Yeah.
Do you know why? I'll get compensated.
You'll be just
somehow
fine.
in there.
We'll
it
be
will
just
work out.
fine.
Zig Ziglar, because this is Zig Ziglar and my mother, Zig and Joyce. You will have, and Zig said it this way: you will have everything in life you ever wanted. You have everything in life you ever wanted if you just help enough other people get what they want.
All about service.
I might have paraphrased that a little, but that's the heart of what he said.
Service related.
Think about that. So if you've got a need or concern or you want something, and I help enough people get that, that doesn't mean I'm going to be compensated every time, by the way. There are going to be some people that just plow through you and take what they can get. And, matter of fact, a lot of people are probably like that. But there's going to be enough of that good stuff come back. I don't believe in karma per se, but if the folks that believe in karma, this would be a perfect example. I'm not a big believer in karma. You know why? Because the Bible says you reap what you sow.
So be careful what you're sowing.
What you're sowing. Right. Well, how about this? Nightshade. Are you familiar with nightshade? It's one of the most deadly poisons on the planet. It's a plant. It's called nightshade. And it's, just a little dab will do you. This stuff is lethal. Okay, you can grow that. Because grass, the soil doesn't care. The soil's fertile. You got it watered. You got it cultivated. The soil really doesn't care what you put in it. So you can grow nightshade, or you could grow any kind of crop you wanted. What you pick? I don't know what's the most popular. Corn's a big one in the Midwest. Corn or cotton or beans or potatoes or tomatoes or whatever you want to grow. The ground doesn't care. So if you put the good stuff in, you're going to get the good stuff out. Computer companies come along and said garbage in, garbage out. It's the negative take on the same thing that was in the scriptures. You reap what you sow. Do you not agree with it? Well, it's fact. It's not like that's a scientific fact.
Right.
If you plant corn, you're not going to get beans.
Yeah, exactly. And so be careful what you reap and sow, and be careful who you surround yourself with. And we're the types of people you're going to want to be surrounded with because this is the mentality. We are all about you being successful. So let that be a lesson. Podcast hosts and potential hosts, come on over. We're doing something new and unique and different, and you can actually benefit from it. The people that with the talent are going to be the ones benefiting. And with that, I did want to close.
Isn't there a thing that you could invite them to right now, though, on the 29th? Check me, David.
Yes, we have a creator interest event on the 29th. 29th. Let me see here.
It is Saturday.
Yeah, 5 p.m.
5 p.m. Right here at our
studio.
LTD.
Come on in. You're interested. You want a little more information as to how this all works and where you could potentially fit in. Now, we're going for quality over quantity because we want talent. And if you're not quite there yet, we also have a way to develop you and get you to where you need to be. So don't be afraid to not come in because you don't think you're ready. We want talented people that are motivated and hungry and want to be wolves. So come hang out with us on the 29th and Saturday, 5 o'clock, and we'll give you a little more information. But what I wanted to show before we go is just like good talk show hosts and live show, we're doing podcasts, we're doing broadcasts, we're doing live TV. A lot of these shows that we emulate have their own house bands. and
rock and roll, baby.
We thought, what better way to try to set all of our hosts up for success than to hire a house band? And so we went through some different people and combed the universe, and we came upon our new house band called the Dream Gypsies. And the Dream Gypsies are amazing. And they're so great for an advertising agency because what we have going on are so many different things. So like, as an example, the Gypsies are a collective. They can play any style. They can do, we've got a lot of different vocalists. And so we kind of like to throw things at them and they produce other things for us. So one of the things is we have a kind of a documentary taking place in the background. One of the many projects we're working on. And we said, hey, Dream Gypsies, give me something that sounds kind of acoustic, kind of 90s alternative, kind of that old breathy delivery of like a Collective Soul or the Verve or something like that. And the Dream Gypsies are just off camera, but I asked them to play for us. And Dream, do you guys remember that song that you came up with for a documentary that we have going on?
I hope you'll bless me with more patience when my stomach's tight enough.
Okay, full band coming
Bring
in.
it on.
Love
Dream
it.
Gypsies.
So They're great. They're talented. They can do whatever they want. I think we do have, just back off on that Scott treatment real quick, because we did ask him. There's going to be a new segment on one of our shows called When the TV Tells Me.
Yeah.
And the deal with that segment is we like to poke fun at like what mainstream media is saying, because they'll just tell you something and you're supposed to follow the rules or enforce them. And I think they made a little segment song for us.
What you got?
Oh, yeah, they're grooving.
Yeah.
Oh, guys. Oh, man, they're all over the place right now.
Yeah.
See, the gypsies are kind of hard to control because they just want to play. They have that kind of heart.
They're wolves, though, every one of them.
Yes. So there's an example. Okay, they're trying to do, one of our clients is Copper Creek Cookies.
Yeah.
They're doing a jingle for them. That was kind of... now we got the female vocalist on there.
Go, guys, go. Look at you.
Okay, I like that they can use some synth and switch it up.
Yeah.
Gypsies, go.
Yeah.
You know, one of our vocalists...
Gene.
One of our vocalists sounds kind of like Carrie Underwood.
Really?
Here it is.
Oh, yeah. Carrie rocks on. Rock on, girl.
I mean,
I love it.
Just a band with a lot of heart.
Copper Creek Cookies.
So, if you're interested in having a show with us, you now have access to the Dream Gypsies.
Yeah.
And they can customize anything for you. And that goes for people that need to advertise with us. Is you have the opportunity to work on some custom jingles for your business. And we've got access to such an amazing collective of musicians.
And quit being boring and lazy all the time.
Yeah, just like Anupam said. Don't be boring.
Don't be boring. Don't be lazy. Hey, you know what? Too many people are worried about what other people think.
Right.
First off, I told a story real quick about I was wearing white socks with a black suit somewhere. I saw somebody doing that on purpose the other day, and so I guess I'm in style. But my brother said to me, and keeping me in check, he's like, yeah, Clint, like nobody cared.
Hey, hold on, guys. I think they're going to... Let's play that Scott one. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. When the TV Tells Me is their segment. Oh, look at that horn guy.
Oh,
Here
man. Look at you.
I'll whistle blow my neighbor. I'll ride
A whistle blow.
following all the rules, and I won't stop until the TV tells me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of sublime.
Don't...
Kind of ska.
Just let her rip.
Job,
Be yourself.
All right, tell us the socks thing. What? Sorry about that.
Well, I was wearing white socks with a dark suit in a public event up in front of everybody, and I was telling my brother, this was a couple of years ago, and he's like, well, Clint, nobody's paying attention to what you're wearing. And he's right.
Yeah.
We spent all this time thinking about everybody's worried about us and thinking about us. And I say just live life to the fullest. The old saying, dance like no one's watching, right? Yep. Dance like no one's watching. Yep. Be yourself. Be authentic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a great way to work. I mean, be. I get it. You don't want to do that at a funeral.
Sure.
But be yourself. Be authentic.
Yes.
Live the dream with us, man.
Hey, gents, before we go, Anupam reminded us that it is Juneteenth. And
yes.
It's a significant holiday, the abolishment of slavery, but the Pima County Board of Supervisors proclaimed it today as Juneteenth Celebration Day. So I wanted to throw that news in there for you guys.
All right. Happy Juneteenth celebration. And we were happy that you were able to listen to us. And we will see you all soon on Local Marana Live next Wednesday.
Hey, and we'll see you around towns. Come up, tell us how great we are or how bad we suck. Or
Be authentic.
Be authentic.
Have a great day.